back to the channel. We have a little protein matcha this morning because I've been trying my best to get protein in as soon as I wake up. And generally before my caffeine is when I like to get it, but this is basically at the same time. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. It's kind of like a cheat code. Actually, Stacy Sims is someone who I like watching on different podcasts. She is an expert on like women's studies, specifically in performance. And she talks about doing a like protein coffee in the morning. So this is my version of that. You guys know I like coffee, but it's not my favorite. I love matcha. Matcha's, I feel like maybe it's just in my blood, but absolutely love it. Little protein matcha this morning to start the day off on the right foot. So I'm gonna take you guys along for my day today. I am gonna bring Brennik along to get some shots on the trail. We're gonna shoot a ad for something really exciting and new from BPN. I don't have any details on it right now that I can share, but it is launching on June 2nd, and this is Project Sierra. So we're gonna shoot kind of like a sick like hype reel for this product specifically, and I'm really excited about that. So we'll get some BTS of that, get some trail footage. I do want to do a lift today, but I don't know if I'll bring Brennik along for that. I might just hit that on my own, but I'm really excited about today. I feel really good. I feel like for the past couple of days, I haven't felt like 100%, maybe like a cold or something that I'm dealing with. I don't know. I'll keep you guys in the loop on what that might be. But, oh, I also have blood work to get done today too, so I do need to kind of step out for that. I'll figure out when Brennik's gonna be here. And yeah, anyway, I'm gonna take y'all along for the day with me today. Just a day of training, day of eating, day of errands, and yeah. Cheers. Let's get ready. Okay, we are ready for our little trail run. I get asked all the time what vest I use, and it's the same vest that I've used since Leadville. This is the Ultraspire Race Bronco. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. I just truly love this pack. So I'm gonna bring this, bring some GWM, camera stuff, and the e-board that we use to film on the road. So gotta load the car up, and I'll see you guys at the trailhead. All right, so we are at our trailhead. We're gonna get a couple mountain miles today. I'm really excited. We have the heat out to play today and UVs. So we're gonna get in, get out, get some good fueling, and take you guys along for this trail run. Let's get it. All right, so we are on one of my favorite trails. I've been on a lot of technical terrain recently, so lots of like big rocks, typical in the Wasatch, like huge climbs, really technical downhills. And I love to mix it up with something a little bit more buffed up, something more runnable, more up and down, just to kind of get the legs flowing. And something I've been dealing with a little bit recently is a little bit of like a confidence issue on trail. I think post a few injuries, I've had a hard time like trusting my body on trail. So these types of trails really help bring that confidence back. So absolutely love it. And the views are chef's kiss.
No limits, no ceiling, no ground. No pressure gonna hold me down. No wall that I can't break through. No limits to what I can
do. Okay, so we just got done with a little trail run. We are gonna go do my blood work really quick and then hop on the road for a couple miles and for some shooting. And then that will wrap up today's workout. A little bit chopped up, but that's okay. Okay, so we just got to the hospital. This is so funny to have to do this like in between filming, but this is real life, having to run errands and also working at the same time. So gonna run real quick and to go get my blood work done before we go finish up the shoot. Okay, we are officially back home after a long day of shooting. I picked up some groceries on the way home, as one does when they eat a bunch of food. But let's go see the puppies. Hey, yo, stinker butt. Hello. Mowgli. Hi. You're so at the grocery store super quickly. I didn't do like a big grocery haul because I don't have Tyler here with me. Otherwise I would, because I would like to have him here to figure out like exactly what we're gonna eat for the week. So I'll show you, we got some snacky type things, some restocks on some things that I really like. I'm not saying that any of this is necessarily like healthy or like that I suggest you eat. It's just honestly what I like to eat during the week as far as snacks go. So I'll show you. So I've been loving doing wraps with these cassava flour tortillas from Siete. So I got 2 of those. Also, I'm allergic to milk and I have celiac. So the combination of this plus this will make sense when that makes sense. But I've also been really liking these Violife Colby Jack shreds. This is dairy-free cheese. And honestly, it's been like the best one that I've found that actually tastes really good and doesn't give me like weird vibes, because some non-dairy cheeses can be absolutely disgusting. We got some eggs. I do need to get some eggs actually from our farmer here, but he's been kind of like going in and out of having eggs and not having eggs. So we spent about 2.5 times the amount on these eggs than our farmer down the road. Staying on the Siete front, these maize chips are so stinking good. This is the street corn flavor, so delicious. I had one of these in the car. This is an IQ bar. I think I've talked about these on the channel before, but they're a different texture of a protein bar. They're more like, I don't know, like food. They have like more of like a food texture, like a cakey texture, but they're super, super yummy. My favorite salsa ever is from Mateo's. This medium cantina style is so, I don't even know what okay, I think it's actually the tomatillos if I'm gonna be honest, but this style of salsa is so good. I'm not really someone who likes a lot of raw onion in my salsa, and I just like don't really like big chunks of onion in general. I just think it's kind of gross and kind of overpowers the salsa. So I love that this one is more like restaurant style. So delicious, absolutely love it. Another bag of Siete chips. These are the dip chips. I got a restock on gluten-free pasta. This is from Jovial. We like to do some pasta basically every week. It's just really easy if we're coming home really late at night and we need something quick to cook. Pasta is a really good option. We have a ton of ground elk, so generally it'll be ground elk, pasta, and then some sort of red sauce. And then I've also been on a turkey bacon kick. So we got the Applegate turkey bacon. I love doing this. Oh my gosh, I forgot to get gluten-free English muffins. But I've been loving to do this with a gluten-free English muffin and an egg, almost like a makeshift McDonald's, what is it called? McMuffin at home, super delish. And I got 2 avocados here, which have been honestly so delicious this time of year. I feel like this time of year the avocados are just better than in the winter. I got some Violife cream cheese, and then another random thing are the organic Applegate turkey dogs. So just a random hodgepodge of things. A lot of these are like snacky things, but yeah, this is a realistic like after run snacky little grocery haul. So delish. I might actually have some chips and salsa while I cook my dinner because that sounds delicious. Let's cook dinner. So I'm actually just gonna throw some nutritional yeast on top of the pasta to have a little bit more flavor. Mix that up, and that is gonna be my super duper easy quick dinner. Friday. I have actually, I'm doing Bart's daughter's engagement photos today. So I am actually gonna go for a little morning run with Shane. We're just gonna do a little loop in the mountains here, about 10 miles. But I wanted to walk you through kind of what I take on these runs because I feel like I get asked a lot of times what my gear looks like. So I am gonna start with my I went over this yesterday, but I'm just gonna bring my Race Bronco. I have half a liter of water with a scoop of grwm and a scoop of electrolytes. So this is over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. I hyper concentrate it because I end up carrying a whole liter of water on my back. So I have a plain water here because I'm also taking Brighton. So I wanna make sure that if, there are water sources on this, but if he needs water, I can share it with him, which is why I don't put the electrolytes in the main bladder, because I want to share it. So I also bring a little bowl for him, just one of these like collapsible bowls. And then I take a bunch of gels. You guys have seen this before, but take a bunch of Go gels with me. I also take Bobos with me as well. I'm gonna toss a couple more in, but little Bobos bars for some real food. I'm also gonna bring my poles today because we are gonna get quite a bit of vert. And yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. These are Oakley Sutro lights. Obsessed with these. You guys have seen these a ton before. I wear these and then the full Sutros, so the ones that have the frame all the way around. Absolutely love that. Have my Whoop, have my Garmin Phoenix 8. This is like an old Iron Man, what is it called? Tank top? Why am I forgetting what it's called? I just have Amazon shorts and CEP socks as always. So I did try out some Injinjis recently, but I don't know if I like how it feels between my toes. I don't know if I'm like on board with that quite yet. So that is what we're looking like. I'm gonna bring this little Action Pro with me as well. What else? Oh yeah, I'm gonna take 2 scoops of grwm on the way to the trail because I need to get some carbs in this morning. So that's the gear for today. Let's go get a couple miles or 10 miles or so on the trail. See y'all there. So yesterday it got to almost 90 degrees here in Utah. I feel like we've had the craziest spring ever. It's gone from snow to being like 90 degrees within like a week. I feel like we completely skipped spring. I feel like we haven't had like our 60 degrees, 70 degrees. We've just completely skipped it and jumped immediately to heat. So I'm definitely not super heat acclimated, as you guys know from Zion, but maybe a little ahead of everyone else who didn't race a 95-degree race. So very happy with at least the sun being out. And I love summer personally, but it definitely makes running a little bit more challenging and difficult, especially with a puppy. So if we start in the morning like we are now, it's totally fine for him. But basically anything in the afternoon or evening when it gets to be like 90 degrees, he just can't be a part of. So even like yesterday filming, we filmed a little bit later in the day, so it was super hot. I wouldn't have wanted to take him, and I didn't take him. So that's kind of the benefit of winter or even like fall or spring, like early spring training, is that you don't have to battle the heat, you don't have to carry as much water, etc. And then stuff in the canyon starts drying up in the summer and water sources become less and it gets hotter. It can just be a little bit harder to plan for. So something that I always recommend carrying though, if you are in the mountains and you have access to streams or river crossings, is a portable water filter. So it is something that I do have with me today. I just utilize the Be Free by I think it's called Chatty is the brand. But those little portable water filters can really help save you on trail. I definitely recommend filtering your water instead of risking Giardia. That's just not something that I want to do or recommend that you do. I know plenty of people who drink from streams, but you never know what is upstream. It could be a dead animal, it could be literally anything. So want to make sure that we're filtering water, and the easiest way to do that is to just bring a portable water filter. And the Chatty Be Free, I think, is like 2 ounces, maybe even lighter than that. It's no heavier than just your regular water flask that you put into your vest. So definitely recommend bringing one of those along with you to make sure that you're staying properly hydrated, but then also protecting yourself from bacteria that can live in these streams, especially when you, like I said, have no idea what is upstream. And I've known plenty of people who've gotten Giardia, so it's definitely not something that I want to have. And this is definitely something I also am recommending that everyone on the Unbreakable Trek TMB brings as well, because we will have access to water on trail, but it's always just so much safer to filter it. In Patagonia, for our Unbreakable Trek, the on-ground guides that we had said, hey, like just drink this water without filtering it. And all of us were fine except for poor Derek. Derek came along and he ended up getting Giardia after the trip had ended, because it generally takes like 5 to 8 days to actually show symptoms. So he didn't know until he was actually on his next trip, which was in Switzerland. So poor guy was traveling after a long W trek in Patagonia and yeah, had Giardia. So you don't want it, I promise you that. And look at that, we are at the trailhead. It is so gorgeous out. Look at that green, so stunning. So anyway, we're gonna pull up and see Shane here, get ready to go do our little trail run. Oh my gosh, it's kind of busy. Whoa. Here's the Be Free, just back flushing it. I'm gonna put a little musher secret on his paws. This is just to protect the paws from any like rocks or anything tough. He hates it. Good boy, yes. Making a little GWM here, just really quick. Wrapped up our trail run. We ended today with around 11.5 miles, 3,500 feet of climbing. So definitely a really good day for vert and for mileage. And we're hot. It's like 2 p.m. and super hot out. So Brady got some water, getting ready to go back to the house. But yeah, I'll catch you guys when we get back. So we are back home. I'm gonna get ready for a photo shoot that I'm doing for Bart's daughter, Jenna, and I wanted to walk you guys through a couple things I feel like have been top of mind. So number one, I've been using the most expensive skincare for a couple of weeks. I think I talked about this when they sent it to me. This is from Skin Medica, and I will say after using these two, the TNS Advanced Serum and the HA Hydrocollagen, it's kind of made me think that, it's kind of made me think that maybe there is something to like more expensive medical grade skincare. I've never been someone who's really spent a ton of money on skincare just because I just, for one, haven't felt the need to or felt like drawn to do that. Obviously, like in college and when I was in the army, I just didn't have enough money to be able to afford it. So obviously now I'm 30 and skin is definitely a concern of mine. I have a couple like problem areas and like I'm just like tend to scar a lot more than when I did in my 20s. Like if I have a pimple, like I had a pimple right here, and there's been a scar for like the past week and a half, and it's like definitely a sign of aging when things just aren't healing as fast as they used to. I feel like I used to have a pimple like when I was in my 20s or in high school, and it would go away within like one day. So we're not quite there yet, but I definitely have been enjoying the feeling of having medical grade skincare. I like knowing that there's nothing like super crazy as far as ingredients in them, and I actually have noticed a difference in the quality, I guess, of my skin. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like I just feel like my skin is tougher because of the skincare that I've been utilizing, like more, I guess, protected from the elements that I put it through. Because I tell you what, being an ultra runner and being in the mountains and going a long time without applying sunscreen on my face, admittedly, because in the mountain, like I'm sorry, but I'm not going to carry like medical grade sunscreen and then apply it with my dirty fingers. It's just, I'm realistic enough to know that like I'm gonna apply it once, go out, and then come back and reapply it if I go back out into the sun later in the day, but I'm not gonna do it with dirty hands. That's just not how I feel like, that's just not, I feel like, reasonable for my lifestyle at all. But I do know the importance of wearing sunscreen, so stacking like a high quality moisturizer with a serum that I feel like actually works, then putting some sunscreen on top, I feel like has been the key. So I not only utilize sunscreen that's in my tinted moisturizer that I use as like foundation, but I also utilize a sunscreen underneath. So this is the Elta MD Skincare UV Clear, and I really actually do think that this is clear. Sometimes they say it's clear and it's like you can clearly see a white cast on my face, but I do feel like this is clear, and I have been enjoying putting it underneath. UV has been crazy. Today it was 10. So your girl, I mean, I just tan so fast when the sun starts coming out. So I get asked a lot about, like, on Instagram, and I actually answered it the other day, like, what's your self-tanning routine, or what do you do for, I don't. I am half Japanese and very blessed with skin that just is not prone to burning, and because I run a lot, especially in the summer outside, the sun is beaming and I'm just gonna get tan. Like, unfortunately, I have no recommendations for you because I don't like self-tanning. I don't self-tan. I don't get spray tans. I've gotten 3 spray tans in the past 15 years of my life, and they've only been for photo shoots. So in the winter, I did actually this year get a spray tan before the Buffbunny shoot and for something else, but generally I don't, because I just honestly don't like having like a layer of something on my skin. It's just not enjoyable to me. So this is all natural. We're getting dark. You're gonna watch me on this channel get darker and darker and darker until the sun goes away, and I'm just gonna get paler and paler and paler. That's just how life is. But if you guys knew my dad, you would understand why I am the color that I am. We are just dark Japanese, just the way we are, and also sun babies. I feel like I definitely got that from my dad, because he is a sun baby through and through. But popping Laneige sleeping lip mask on my lips. This is honestly just like the best lip product I've ever used. It's meant for like sleeping, but I utilize it all day. It's just awesome. This is like the candy cane flavor from Christmas, but it lasts me so long that we still have candy cane flavor in May. Delicious. So I just popped on my skincare. I'm gonna do my brows while I wait for all of that to seep in. There's not really like, oh wait, I didn't put my sunscreen on. All that talk and I didn't put it on. I know it is like 6 p.m., 5 p.m., but I'm just gonna reapply before we go out, just in case there's like a little UV. Oh, that was way too much on that side. Might just have to put that on my hand for now until I can wipe it off. But you can see it starts out white, but then it just honestly does go away. So I do like that. I feel like because I am darker skinned, I feel like you can definitely see when there's a white cast on my skin when it comes to sunscreens. And this is like honestly clear. So we love that. I'll pop some on my neck. Don't forget about your neck. That was a little too rough. I feel like I've been called out on this channel for my rough application of things, and I apologize. I'm not a beauty guru, but I do enjoy beauty things. Okay, I'm gonna wipe the rest of that off on that towel. And then I'm gonna do my brows. So a couple things that I've talked about in the past of like what I do for brows and why I just do it differently, or maybe the same as you, is I use drugstore products for my brows because I just go through it so fast. So I used to use Anastasia Brow Wiz, but now I've completely swapped for e.l.f. eyebrow product because holy cow, is it so much cheaper. And I already have like fine eyebrows, like I don't have minuscule eyebrows, and also I don't really apply them super duper cautiously. If I'm honest, I kind of just slap it on there. While we finish the rest of my makeup, I also kind of want to talk about this because I feel like I was asked it today on trail by someone who watches the channel, and I've been asked it a couple of times just like publicly and or people in my DMs asking if I'm going to be at the BPN Ultra or why I'm not in Texas this weekend. And I just kind of want to talk about the fact that there are a lot of races out on the schedule. And if I constantly raced everything that everyone wanted me to race, I would be racing like twice a month. And if I'm gonna be so real with y'all, you guys know, like I mean, you watch this channel for a reason, right? I dedicate a lot of time and energy into my races, and they're generally 100 milers, and my goal is to be able to get better at the 100-mile distance. And that means really dedicating a prep to that race. So instead of kind of like racing everything that I feel like I could race, I am very selective. If I race in between my A races, I am racing basically to train for my race. So to either practice nutrition, or there's a purpose to the race that I'm doing versus just kind of willy-nilly doing whatever. I've talked about this before, but I also am someone who I just don't need to be racing every month. It doesn't bring me joy to constantly be towing the line. In fact, I almost think that it takes away from my A goals if I'm constantly putting myself in a race environment for things that I'm not super passionate about. For me, I really want to feel something when I'm stepping on that line. Like, I want to know that there's a reason why I'm racing the race that I am. And for me, like specifically 100-mile distance, you have to have a strong why in order to get through the hard times. I feel like if you're just racing to race for either the benefit of other people or like to look a certain way on social media or whatever, like it just comes across as not very genuine. And also, and if that's your thing, if that's the thing that you like to do, like race all the time, I'm not saying that you're not genuine at all. I'm just saying if I was to do that, I just feel like it would be very obvious that I wasn't genuine in my reasoning of why I want to race for something. And yeah, I feel like for me, long story short, I guess, I am not racing the BPN Ultra, the Backyard Ultra, because I didn't want to. And I have other goals that I felt like were, I guess, higher on my priority list than doing the Backyard Ultra. If that is your thing, like if that's the thing that you, and I know a couple of BPN athletes, this is their thing of the year, then I think that's so freaking incredible. But for me this year, it just wasn't a focus of mine, nor was it something that I found to be like something that I was just dying to do. I had the opportunity, obviously, as an athlete to be able to race, and I just chose not to do it. If I'm honest, there's a couple things about the Backyard Ultra style that I am interested in, but like not super drawn towards. Number one, I love to race in cool environments to be able to like explore areas that I find beautiful. The whole reason why I started racing in the first place is because I love the outdoors. Like I genuinely love it. And before I was racing ultras, I was backpacking, I was mountaineering, I was doing a lot of things just for the joy of it and to being outside. And I just love being in the outdoors, and I find a lot of enjoyment in chasing really intense and crazy things in the outdoors, but also being able to explore the areas that I am. And I think for me, the Backyard Ultra, the 4.2 mile loop, it's not really giving like exploring the outdoors and like fulfilling that part of my soul that I really like to do. And if I'm going to invest a lot of time and energy into training for something, I want to have it be something that fulfills like my heart and my soul, and feels like it's also like nurturing the adventurous side of myself and the side of myself that loves the outdoors, and honestly was doing all of this before racing to begin with. Like I love backpacking. It's one of my favorite things to do when I'm not in season racing, is to backpack and to like enjoy the slower miles and the heavier packs, and filtering my water with like a proper filter pump, and boiling my water in a jet boil, and eating dehydrated meals. Like I just love that. It's like honestly so life-giving to me, and I honestly would rather do that than put myself into a race that, I don't know, just doesn't nurture that side of me. So I almost would rather kind of, TMB is a great example of this, of like, I would almost rather not race and do something that nurtures the super adventurous, fun side of why I love being in the outdoors than do something, I guess, what is for some people is not going to be for others, and what works for me is not going to always work for you. And if Backyard Ultra, I think honestly Backyard Ultra is a really great introduction to ultra. If you have not raced an ultra before, I honestly think it's such a great format for those who are looking to get into the sport, because number one, you don't necessarily need to have crew or pacers because you're only doing a 4.2 mile loop. So there's no navigation skills required. It's honestly like you don't need a pacer. If you have a pacer, it's obviously easier for the pacer to get crew and be able to like have access to all of your stuff at each aid. And it just requires a lot less logistically. So if that is like your introduction to ultra, I think that's a great one. And if you just like the format of Backyard Ultra, I'm not knocking you. Like I'm not icking your yum. But I definitely, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to be eating my words in a couple of months, or a couple of years, who knows. But definitely for me right now, I prefer, even if it takes me 35 hours to finish 100, because there's 35 1,000 feet of elevation. Like, I feel like I kind of would rather do that. I don't know. That's just my style. You guys know, I love the mountains. That's where I prefer to race. That's where I prefer to run, period. And I just love it. Love it so much. And honestly, Zion was so stinking hot. I don't know if I would be down for another hot run right after doing Zion, because I feel like I have a little PTSD from how hot it was. And if you race Zion, you know that we dealt with the craziest heat ever. And yeah, I wouldn't blame anyone else for not wanting to do something super hot right after doing that race. I feel like I'm still dehydrated from that race. I'm not really, but yeah, anyway. So that is why I'm not at the BPN Ultra. I'm sorry if that makes any of y'all upset, or yeah, I'm sorry if that's upsetting to you, or you wish I would be doing something like that. But if I felt like it was my purpose to be out there and God was like, hey, this race is for you, I would be out there. But I just don't necessarily feel like it's meant for me right now. So that is where we're at. We're also so close to TMB, 6 weeks away from TMB. And that's my focus right now, is getting like heavy elevation gain. And if I was to race, like let's say I did 150 miles at the BPN Ultra, that would set me back a couple weeks getting back to my training. And I don't really want to do that. I need to be like in my peak training right now and focused on that, instead of kind of like screwing myself over again and having my body go through heck again. Because I feel like, especially with the amount of PT and stuff that I've had to go through post-race now, like I just don't need another setback. So anyway, long story short, I feel like I said long story short, and then I gave a very long explanation as to why I'm not at the BPN Ultra. But anyway, that's why I'm not at the BPN Ultra. Another thing that I feel like has been kind of top of mind recently, and I talked about it with Abby. You guys know Abby actually from, she paced me at Zion 100. I feel like we've been talking about this a lot recently, of just, I feel like following God is interesting sometimes, because I feel like sometimes there are two different options that you're given or gifted, and both of them are good options. And I feel like sometimes we get so stuck in this idea that like, we could choose this path or this path, and God might be telling me to go this way, and that means that this one is wrong for me. And sometimes I just feel like we are given opportunities to allow God to flourish in our lives in both directions. And whether it's a move or a job change or something like completely different, I just feel like we're given so many different opportunities for God to work in and through our lives. And if we just allow our trust to be with Him, it doesn't matter which path we end up taking, because He's going to work in and through our lives as long as we're walking in line with Him. And I just feel like that's such a cool testament of God's love for us, but also for our opportunity as humans to continue to grow and to flourish in whatever we do. So do I feel like for example, my military service is a great example of this. Like, it wasn't something that I ended up retiring in. Was that my plan originally? Yes, I joined the Army because I felt like it was the right thing for me to do as a U.S. citizen and as someone who I felt like could really give something good back to my country. And I feel like I did that. And I feel like God blessed me so much in that department. And I don't necessarily think that that was something maybe that He wanted me to go through, but He worked so heavily in and through me. And then also blessed me in ways when I was retired medically from my cancer. So, you know, we had the plan initially to be in the Army for 20 years. It was my plan, and that was shaken up, but He blessed me in my separation. He blessed me in my new career path. And I just feel like if we just continue to walk through life knowing that as long as we're kind of trying to walk with God, and I just feel like we're just going to be so blessed in our lives. And we can get so caught up in the semantics of life, and like definitely in analysis paralysis, where it's like, oh my gosh, am I making the right decision, or should I do this, or should I do that, instead of actually just making a decision and allowing God to work through that. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of been top of mind recently. And He's funny. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm like, well, this was my plan, and He's like, haha, you thought we are going to work a different plan through you. So I do have a couple things that I cannot wait to share with you guys, and I feel like it's kind of eating me alive because I can't share it with y'all quite yet because the details aren't ironed out, but you'll see kind of what I mean when I'm able to share it. That's so annoying, I totally know. But yeah, that's kind of has also been top of mind when it comes to that. And just like really honestly giving it all to God and being like, all right, I trust you. Let's do this thing. And kind of watching him work is the coolest thing ever. I absolutely love it. Also, I'm doing eyelash primer, mascara, some eyeliner, and that's gonna wrap up my like 15-minute makeup routine. And my hair's wet from the shower because I had to wash it today. It was getting so gross. So we'll probably just do like a little claw clip for photos because I'm taking the photos, not in them. So my hair doesn't have to be dry. As I do my mascara, I can't help but think about, I feel like a lot of talk has been going around about Utah in general and culture here because of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. If you've not watched it, I fear that you might not be missing out on much, but I will say, I feel like with the show coming out, there's been a lot of talk about just like women in Utah, and yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of information kind of going around, and I feel like I've gotten asked questions about like how I feel in Utah as someone who's not LDS, so not in the church here, but is Christian, and like a lot of questions surrounding that, or like the perfection standards, if I feel like pressured by that, etc. And here's a funny story. So I will say, number one, I definitely I moved from a very different area. So living in Washington State is almost like living in a complete polar opposite environment to Utah. Very atheist in Washington State, a lot of like PJ pants and I don't know, sadness. That's like my perception of living there. It's just, there is a lot of sadness. Like it exists in Washington a lot because depression rates are higher, low vitamin D levels. Like it just impacts the culture much differently. And I do feel like people in Utah are significantly happier and more fulfilled. And whether you agree with the fact that it's the church or not, I don't really know, but I do definitely notice that's my number one thing here. I think more sunshine also makes for happier people, more outdoorsy people makes for happier people. There's just a lot of like, I would say differences, but also faith is a huge one. And I think when I lived in the South, when I lived in the military, I really noticed that the places that there was more faith just tended to have happier people. And because I'm someone who is Christian, I recognize that I do feel like when you are following God, you're a happier person because the burden of the daily things that you have to endure doesn't fall on your shoulders because you have God to turn to. So for me, I feel like it just makes sense that with more faith-based communities, there would be happier people. But I think with Secret Lives, I feel like there's also a layer of the church, not necessarily of Jesus in the Bible, but of the church that creates this level of perfection that if you don't like perform to the public at that level, you can come under a lot of scrutiny. And I will say here, I definitely notice there is definitely I would say more of a pressure to be perfect and look perfect and act perfect and dress perfect and have the perfect face, the perfect hair. Like I definitely see that a lot here. And I would say it's actually talked about in Secret Lives accurately. Like I don't necessarily feel as though that's not true. Do I think that everyone falls under that, like to be a victim of that? No, I think that you have a choice, just like everything else, whether or not that's going to affect you. And I'll tell you this funny story because I actually find it really fascinating. But when I first moved to Utah, I wanted to be super respectful of the customs and courtesies here, especially being in Utah County, where I think it's like 85% LDS here, just a lot of people in the church. And I went to the gym and I was like, I'm gonna be so respectful of my Mormon brothers and sisters. I'm gonna wear a long sleeve top and full leggings to the gym because I just wanna be respectful. And I walked into the gym and I was like, oh my gosh, they wear way less clothes here at the gym than even in Washington. And it's actually, specifically at the gym, it's interesting culture at the gym here. I definitely feel like because the ladies and dudes even don't have to wear their garments at the gym, there is definitely a removal of that pressure. So I feel like people feel a little bit more inclined to dress more scantily clad, and I don't have any issues with that. I think that you should wear whatever the heck you want to wear. I just thought it was really funny that I went into the gym like thinking like I'm gonna be so respectful and like blend in with the culture here, and I stuck out like a sore thumb because I was wearing, like in the middle of summer, was wearing long pants and long sleeves, and I just looked like such a goob. But that is to say, I think if you've got good intentions for things that you're doing, and And if it feels true to you and also feels like it's something that God is saying like, hey, like Amanda, you can wear a t-shirt and shorts to the gym and it's not something that's going to pull you farther away from me, then I think that you should do whatever the heck you want to do. But so I think me altering my dressing and it's just funny. I feel like I was like called out kind of like, oh, like you're changing your, I don't know, how you're presenting yourself in order to please other people. And you shouldn't do that. So yeah, I don't know. Does that make sense? I feel like maybe we can talk more of like the plastic surgery and stuff here too. Per capita, Utah is the #1 plastic surgery capital of the entire United States, actually of the world. So per capita, we have the most plastic surgeons. And honestly, like it makes a lot of sense just being in Utah and knowing that like a lot of women have mommy makeovers. That's something that's really common in the culture because Mormon culture tends to encourage larger families. So 6-7 kids is not abnormal here. That's quite normal. So totally makes sense why like the mommy makeover would be a thing. But I will say, aside from moms, there are so many boob jobs here. It's kind of crazy. Like, sorry if that's not something that you want me to talk about, but I will say when I first moved here and started going to the gyms and stuff, it was very obvious to me, like coming from a place where it wasn't like super duper normal and then coming here and being like, whoa, yeah, everyone does have fake tatas. That's interesting. And once again, I feel like you can choose to have that affect you or not. Do I think that it's necessarily positive for little girls to grow up and like only see what fake boobs look like? I don't know. But I will say, like, when we have kids, I definitely want to teach them that other people's choices don't have to reflect on you and don't have to change your behavior and should never make you feel insecure about yourself. And I think that's where it's like, if you're choosing to have a permanent procedure done, a surgery done or something, that I would hope that you're doing so because it's something that you truly, genuinely want to do, not because you feel self-conscious. So I'm totally pro whatever you want to do with your body, so long as it doesn't harm other people or innocent people or harm yourself, honestly. It's probably better for you to do something less permanent if it's going to actually harm you. And it, like specifically for me, like having an autoimmune disease, it basically completely eliminates my desire at all to do anything where I'm putting like foreign objects into my body because I feel like my body's just going to reject it. So anyway, that's just such a ramble, but I feel like I've gotten asked a little bit about Utah recently, and I think it's because of the show, and that's my perspective on it. I think we have so many happy and lovely and enjoyable people here. You guys have met a lot of my friends here, and all of my friends here grew up in the church and or are currently part of the church. So you guys know I have absolutely zero judgment, especially to my brothers and sisters here. But that's just my perspective on it. I feel like the only thing that I've noticed as an outsider are those things. So both positives and negatives, and I love everything that comes with being here. I absolutely love the outdoors, and maybe that's also saved me a lot in the comparison game because being a trail runner and a mountain runner here, like I'm not exposed to being around like people who make me feel bad about how I look, whatever it may be. I don't know. This is a funny conversation. I never thought that I would be on YouTube talking about secret lives of Mormon wives, but here we are. Here we are. If you have watched it, let me know in the comments. I want to know who you think this year's or this season's villain is. And I want to know your thoughts. Give me all of your thoughts. I'm not going to influence you on here, but I want to know your thoughts in the comments below on who you think is this season's villain and also what you think about everything that's going on. No spoilers here, but yeah, all the drama. I might be a little bit biased in the drama because I have been going to, and I have before the show even came out, been going to Jay-Z salon. You guys know I walked you through my entire hair appointment last time with Kate. Like, I absolutely love Kate and I love the work that she does, and she works at Jay-Z salon, so maybe I'm a little biased in that, but yeah, take with that with what you will, I guess. So anyway, this is the look for just super easy. It's the exact same thing that I always do for photos. I have like, let's see, 15 minutes until I have to leave. So I'm gonna pack up my camera. I'm actually really excited to do this. I love photography. It is kind of like my side love. And when I was backpacking a lot more and just like plain hiking a lot more, I felt like I could tap into this side of my creative brain a lot more than running because I can't carry my huge stupid camera on my trail runs. But yeah, you guys know when I went to Havasu last year, I took my camera and was able to get some incredible photos. They were so gorgeous. And yeah, when I get the opportunity to take my camera anywhere, I absolutely love it. It's so fun for me. And I hope to do it a little bit more this summer as we get ready to go do TMB and are adventuring through the summer. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap up this video here because I have to get ready to go do photos. But I appreciate you guys being here. I know that some of y'all like the chatty little videos, but I decided to end with the chats versus start with it in case that's something that you wanted to skip. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. I love meeting you guys on trail. Like I met Kate today on trail. I just absolutely love this community. I feel like you guys are so supportive of one another. So funny in the comments below after the chicken video or the chicken clip last video. I was dying at some of the comments. I'm so happy that some of y'all can relate to that, but I just love spending time with y'all, and this community is just absolutely incredible. So thank you so much for being so kind and supportive and encouraging even to one another. I just absolutely love the space that we have here and just so appreciate you guys being here and cheering me on in all my endeavors. And yeah, anyway, I love you guys so stinking much. I will see you guys next week on the YouTube channel. But until next time, stay unbreakable.